Well, hello there. Who are you?
Everyone just calls me Beck.
And there you were. Every account set to public. You want to be seen, heard, known. Of course, I obliged.
So I've just finished watching You. No, not that show on Netflix. I mean, I've been watching You. Personally. Oh, and I guess I've actually watched the show You on Netflix as well. So let's talk about it. You know, after watching this show, I reflected back on how relatable this show really is. I mean, who hasn't met a girl and then proceeded to stalk her to her house? Am I right, lads? But on a serious note, this show is relatable. Not in a stalking way, but in a way it presents a relationship. The little things you notice when in a relationship with someone. The honeymoon period, hanging out with their friends, that moment when it's over, and then that awkward moment when you run into them again after some time. All of this is covered in this show. So down to the rest of the show. What is You? If I had to describe this show to someone, I'd say it's like watching a romance show that just so happens to feature a less likeable Dexter Morgan. On the surface, and from watching the trailers, you could be forgiven for thinking this was going to be some trashy drama. And that's not to say it doesn't have its cheap, trashy moments. There are definitely a few. But it has so much more going on. And between the writing and the performances, this show had me. It had me wanting to find out what happens next. It had me flip-flopping between which characters I liked and which I didn't. And just when I thought I had a character all figured out, the show would present a whole new side to them, some more info about them that forced me to re-evaluate my whole view on that character. And I don't see that all too often in TV shows. So bravo, You. Bravo. I was impressed they were able to keep up the momentum of this premise about a creepy bookstore owner stalking a girl and have it stay strong and evolve throughout 10 episodes. I'll tell you what though, it's lucky for Joe that he happens to be a decent looking fella. I'm not sure how well he would have done trying to trick a girl into falling in love with him if he looked like this. Another thing this show does so well is to play with and comment on the use and impact that social media has on our lives and how that stalker mentality comes with social media. Now I'm sure many of you have clicked on someone's profile that you either haven't spoken to in a while or don't know personally just to check out what's going on currently in their lives for whatever reason. Because you're a weirdo. And to be honest, when social media is all about sharing your life online, then it kind of invites that sort of stalker mentality to it. And that's something the show really highlights. Joe as a character is impressively well written. It could have been all too easy to just make him a psycho weirdo. But by spending nearly all of our time with him, we can understand how he justifies his actions. His actions aren't right, but we understand why he's doing what he's doing. The use of constant narration from the internal point of view of Joe is a smart move to make as well. It first helps us to understand somewhat of his thought process, but it also, by listening to it, it makes us feel like an accomplice to his actions and makes us almost root for him at times, even though we know what he's doing is wrong. In fact, during this whole season I was rooting for him and then not rooting for him and then rooting for Beck, the girl he's stalking. Speaking of Beck, this character had me on a rollercoaster of emotions, I'll be honest. At first I thought she was stupid. Who doesn't have curtains or blinds in their apartment? Especially when you're on the ground floor, you idiot! Then I thought she was a mess of a person. Then I thought she was lazy, which she kind of is. She constantly contradicts herself and was just overall completely unlikable. I mean, can you imagine dating this girl? It'd be a nightmare!
I'm a mess.
But then, I felt sorry for her. And then by the end of the whole season, I was actively rooting for her above anyone else. And then, finally, the ending. Not going to talk about specifics here, as I don't want to spoil too much. The ending kind of had me mad. I felt angry. Not to say it was a terrible ending, and maybe you're supposed to feel angry. I don't know. I guess it depends on what character you side with in this show by the end. And then, of course, right at the end, we get a bit of a cliffhanger, which, in my mind, did feel kind of cheap. Now, overall, I think this show did a wonderful job of keeping me hooked and invested in the story, and not knowing what was going to happen next. Of course, we knew what had to eventually happen at the end, but even that didn't take me out of the show too much. It was some good writing, good character development, and some great performances. The show, however, can sometimes get a little too into the whole social media message, and sometimes, though not often, there were a few questionable decisions characters made. Also, as a side note, I did find it strange at first that no one once spotted Joe lurking about the places they were at, and by the 5th time it happened, it just became so ridiculous that it was comical. Seriously. Now, season 2, I'm not sure how it will play out, and honestly, I think this would have worked perfectly as a self-contained one-season story. Now, I know this is based off a book, and I don't know too much about it, and I'm not sure if it's one book or a series of books. I don't know. But this isn't a book, this is a show, and I'm not sure how well this story will hold up into another season. That being said, there are a few plot lines left still open for season 2 to explore further, so I guess we'll see. We don't really have a rating system, at least not yet, so I guess I'll just rate this out of 10. I would probably give this show an 8 out of 10. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out, you may really enjoy it. Show it to your grandma. That'll be fun. Anyway, that's my thoughts on You. Not You. Netflix You. I see what they've done there. They're very clever. I know exactly what they're doing here. Oh, I've been watching You. Me? No, not you. The show You. Oh, I thought you were a creepy stalker. If you like this and you want to see more and you want to help the channel grow into something beautiful, then please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I guess you have to hit the stupid bell thing. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I've got some stalking to do.